Hi, welcome to Not a Real Podcast, and I'm Isha.
And I'm Big Cole.
And we have a really, really good show for you all today. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Every time.
You excited to see me?
I seen you yesterday.
I know. Okay, well, yesterday was fun. But that was our first time seeing each other this week.
It was.
So before we get into our show,
I thought I see you like weekend after weekend. The weekend, because we was with Bree that weekend, and then the weekend before that you was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But the weekend before that we was together.
Was we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I saw the recording. I don't remember.
Oh, no, that's real. So, we saw each other yesterday, but that was our first time seeing each other all week. So what was obviously, I was the peak of your week, but what was the other peak of your week, and what was the pits of your week?
The peak of my week.
The peak of your week.
So I didn't really get into much this week, but I went to Britt and Tilja's 1 year anniversary for that podcast.
Yes, congratulations.
Yep. So I had a lot of fun.
Super dope.
There. Of course, TT was there. Who else? A whole bunch of folks we know, or really a lot of folks they know too. But yeah, we had a good time. And it was my first time going to your third spot.
Oh, how was it?
So people be like, people say it's okay. It's kind of maybe a little overrated, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Okay.
Me and TT was playing cornhole.
I love cornhole.
The people we were playing cornhole with.
You and TT was on team?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they was on team. So TT had made the first two in or whatever. And she was like, come on, friend, just make one. All you got to do is just make one.
Because she going to carry you.
Yeah,
she going to carry you.
No, she was really saying, like, girl, if your sorry ass don't make a shot. So, okay, fine. So they had made a hole by that time. And then it was like 2-1. Then I did another one. I did one, so it was 3-1. Then after that, they came foul ass because the third spot was closing. The ending score ended up being 6-3.
They whooped your ass. Bad. Did y'all know them or was just random people?
We didn't know if they was random
cool.
people, but you know me, I went over there talking shit.
You ain't never met a stranger.
Okay.
Yeah. So what was the pits of your week?
I really didn't have a pit of my week. You want to see me?
If you didn't have a pit, you didn't have a pit.
What you want to see me sad? Tell me.
I never want to see you sad.
Tell me.
If you didn't have a pit, you didn't have a pit. That's
You
good.
want to see me vulnerable, I know. But no, I didn't have a pit for it this week.
Yeah, that's good.
Smooth sailing.
If you say so.
What about you? What was the peak and the pit of your week?
The peak of my week? My week was pretty cool. It was cool. It was an easy work week, surprisingly. So I'm not mad at that at all. And then Friday, I went to St. James Place. It was, I discovered.
Oh, that's where you went.
Yeah, St. James Place, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was a cover band, and it was like a tribute to like 90s girl groups. And they did pretty good. It was nice. I had a good time. It was fun.
That's good.
And then, of course, Saturday, we went out for drinks. And then the pits of my week, I got annoyed earlier today. And I don't know why it bothered me. I feel like if we have plans or we agree to do something and something comes up where you can't do it, it's cool, but just let me know. Like I feel like me following up and you already know that you wasn't going to be able to keep our plans, that burns me up. So I think that would probably be the pit of my week. So
even if they was a little bit more proactive, that would even be okay.
Yeah.
So obviously I want to see you. So it's the fact of you not showing up, but it's also the fact that I had to reach out to you.
Yeah. When you knew.
Yeah, that you wasn't going, and it's okay, but you could have just let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the pits of my week. So it's not a real pit, but if that's the worst of my week, I'll take that.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
Yeah. So. We talked about our week, which was pretty good. Smooth sailing on it for both of us. Let's get into today's topic.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about being vulnerable.
All pride aside.
All pride aside. So when you think of vulnerability and being vulnerable, like what's the first thing that come to mind?
Being open.
Okay.
Being almost a target to receive the positive, the negative, the questionable, the judgmental, being a target, just opening yourself up and allowing yourself to receive what somebody is basically coming at you with, whether good or bad. So that's kind of like, that's just vulnerability to me.
Do you think being vulnerable means, like, you talk about receiving, but what about like outward pour? Like what are you displaying when you're being vulnerable?
I think, well, to answer the question, yes, I do think it kind of goes both ways, either the sending or the receiving. But you said, what was your second question?
When you're being vulnerable, it like not only do you receive, like, but what does giving, what, like, how do you display vulnerability?
Okay, how do I actually give it?
Yeah.
I have to do some prep work sometimes to be vulnerable.
That's real.
And so for me to give it, I have to first understand what it is that I want to give. Because there are times where I'm just, let's say I'm reacting to something. I could be angry, but all of these things, like if I'm reacting angry to something, whatever, that's me almost acting off an impulse. When it comes to like vulnerability, there are no impulses for me. Like I literally have to set the stage and create a space for me to feel like it's safe to say whatever it is to that person, or it's safe to receive whatever that person has to give to me. In the context of giving and saying whatever it is to that person, what it looks like for me is I have to assess, can that person actually receive this today? And have those conversations with them, asking those questions like, where are you mentally? How can you receive this? In order for me to feel like, yeah, I can be vulnerable with you today, and you're able to actually hear and understand what I'm saying.
Right. So you said that you have to create this safe space. So do you put some of that on the person you're being vulnerable with? Like, do you feel like, in a way, like they're not obligated, but for lack of better words, like if they want to see that vulnerable side of you, then they also have to create that safe space for you as well?
I would like for them to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like for them to.
But it's not a requirement. As long as you feel safe within the space that you created.
Mm-hmm. And if I feel like stuff is getting out of hands or whatever, I would be considerate. But yeah, I think initially, if I'm safe, and they've accepted like being able to receive or whatever, then I would feel good about it.
That's right. I think vulnerability, it varies, right? Like, me personally, that was such a foreign concept for so long, right? But now I think it varies on like who the person is, the environment we're in, because my family and my close friends see a side of me that nobody else get to see. And then like when you think of like professionally, like with our 9 to 5 in the field that we're in, I don't think being vulnerable is not a skill set we need. Like we can do our job without showing like any vulnerability. So like professionally, I'm not a vulnerable person at all.
Yeah. So there are some places, of course, I guess, of course, there's places and people who you can be vulnerable with, but who do you feel like you could be most vulnerable with?
I think I'm a little bit like the opposite of you. I'm most vulnerable with the people that created a safe space for me to be vulnerable. Because if I had it my way, then of course, like I could be vulnerable 24/7, but like that's not our reality. And I think, one, like we're Black women in America. So outside of the comforts of our own home or the people that have created that safe space for us, there is no room for us to be vulnerable. And I'm not tripping about it at all. When I leave my house, I put the, it's almost like it automatically switch. I go from like the softer side of Isha to like, all right, I got the full armor on, because when, in the outside where some people can take vulnerability as a weakness, and I never want nobody to feel like I'm weak. So the people that create those safe spaces for me get that side of me. Nobody else.
Is there any, and you don't have to say a name, but could you think of like any top 2 or top 3 people? Do you have 3 people in this world who you feel like you can be ultimately vulnerable with because they've created those spaces?
I'm blessed. I have way more than 3 people. And I always, when I say like people don't know love like I know love, like I stand on that. Like I truly believe that I have the best support system in the world. So I have a solid group of people that I can be vulnerable with. And vulnerable is like the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't have to be the Isha that I present to the world, the tough Isha. You know what I mean? I can be sad Isha, hurt Isha, frustrated Isha, happy Isha, joyful Isha. I can be all of those things without worrying about any type of backlash or, retaliation. Nobody trying to play on it. So no, yeah, I'm definitely way more than 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a great support system too.
Absolutely. I was one PS.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
Damn.
I'm just playing. But now I do. I have, my support system is ridiculous, and all the people that's like the closest to me.
Yeah.
There's not one person out of that entire group that I probably couldn't be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky to even be able to say that for real.
Because that's not a luxury a lot of people get.
I know people personally that still don't feel like they have that luxury.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a part of their space where they can be vulnerable, the people who they can be vulnerable with, but even they don't have that luxury. And so I'm blessed.
Yeah, and it's not something you want to take for granted.
Right.
Because I couldn't imagine, like, as tough as I am for real, like, I couldn't imagine not having these places where I can just kind of take my cape off.
Feel free.
And just be me. Like, I don't know if I would be able to, like, survive. I know that's dramatic as fuck, but...
I mean, if it's your reality.
Yeah. But also... within that, like, I still think it's like levels to being vulnerable, right? So you see a side of me, I'm completely vulnerable with you. And you know what I mean? You see a side of me that people that I've probably been knowing for a long time or that I'm vulnerable with would never see a side of me. It's no fault of theirs, but it's just the space that you created for me allows me to just like fall deeper into like that vulnerable Isha. Girl, I was just using you as an example because you right here.
About to say,
right.
Wow, because I was going to return the compliment.
Oh, well, go ahead. I'm ready.
No, don't worry about it.
No, go ahead. Take it from the top. How good do I make you feel?
Real good. Real good. But now, yeah, I think I could agree with that. And it's because in one of the earlier episodes, I think even episode 1, you was like, there's really barely anything that we won't talk about because we're so transparent.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel, and I think a lot of people, I can speak for a lot of people with this, I feel more vulnerable with people that are more transparent because it gives me that sense that you really won't judge me. Or you're putting yourself on this chopping block because you know that you're no better than me and you fall, it hurt just as much as it hurt me, etc. So I'm really extremely vulnerable with those folks, and you have created like a space where transparency is like number 1, and that's why.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Each did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. That's what Jay-Z said. No, but I do. But I always do that. And remember, like some people, like I use I statements. I learned that in therapy. I statements. So when I'm talking to somebody or like trying to build a rapport, I'm gonna tell you what I did because there is probably nothing that you've done that I haven't done. So it's like almost in a way, it's like, well, the thing that you're most ashamed about, I can speak freely of it. I can speak freely about it in hopes that it like free you in a sense where you don't like have that shame on you. Like I'm gonna be vulnerable with you because I want to pull out the vulnerability in you. So like that's one of the reasons why I do it. And it's like you ain't alone. People fuck up. It's cool.
It's kind of a good feeling to know that you're somebody that somebody can come to. Yeah. And so, like, obviously, it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling when I know someone that I can go to.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like I'm paying it forward or I'm paying it back, especially when I'm talking to, like, the kids and stuff. But I almost feel like I'm just paying it back in so many ways because it's like, dang, that means you feel comfortable. I've done something right.
Yeah. It's the highest honor.
Yeah, genuine. Yeah. And I guess you can see that authenticity where it's like, man, I can talk to her and that made me feel good.
Yeah, no, definitely. And again, I try to be there for the people that created the spaces for me. And it's levels to it. But the one, and I earlier I said, like, I'm not, when it comes to like professionalism or like my professional life, I'm not vulnerable. But that's a lie. Our 9 to 5, I'm not vulnerable. That's not a skill set that we need. And I think, we've been doing it long enough that I think like we're really good at it. So like vulnerability is not something that I practice in the work field for that particular job. Current employer and previous. It's not the company, it's just the field we're in, whatever. But when it comes to the nonprofit, I'm very vulnerable when it comes to that. And I think it has a lot to do with because that's like something I'm super passionate about, working with kids. So I think like that gets a lot of my vulnerability. And then this podcast. Like we joke a lot and we talk shit, but I have no problem with being vulnerable and like touch on the topics that, we come up with.
Passion and vulnerability kind of go like hand in hand. It's like when I won't say it has to be, but 9 times out of 10 for me to be vulnerable, not only do you create that safe space or I create that space for me, it's usually because it's something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
Like it's usually something that it has to mean something to me in order for me to even bring. Like I don't even want to play around with just being open about just stuff because people got so much on their plates. And I just sometimes don't want to feel like a burden when I'm being vulnerable to them. But I just feel like passion. I have to be passionate about it. They just go hand in hand.
Yeah, but then also like I think people when they think of vulnerability, they also think of like, the good side of vulnerability, the softer life, right? Soft life. But I also think like showing anger or showing hurt, that's being vulnerable too. And a lot of people don't like to think of vulnerability in that sense as well. It's like, oh, you're angry. Like, well, me, I'm angry and you might not like the way that I'm giving it to you, but this is also me being vulnerable because I'm letting you know that your actions or your words hurt me. So I think like that was big for me too.
Yeah, just being open to receive it or give it, whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be the positive. Sometimes it's going to be those more negative things, but you learn from it. That should be a character.
I'm trying to tell you. It was easy for me to receive than give. I never wanted people to like know how I was feeling for real because...
Really?
No, because then in my mind, in my twisted mind... then they can use it against you.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy or whatever brings you the most joy, if you let somebody in on that, then they can use
it.
Yeah. Or whatever like pisses you off the most, then they can play with that too. So that was just something I had to learn, like my vulnerability or my joy, like you didn't give me my joy, so you can't take it. So then you shouldn't be able to impact me wanting to be vulnerable or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's harder for me to be vulnerable, but receiving it kind of kills me because it's like that means I have to own up to whatever it is. I have to take accountability for whatever it is. And I just have to be ready to do that. It's not that I'm a deny it or lie about it, but I have to literally be ready to take accountability for whatever it is you're opening up about, and I have to be vulnerable enough to receive.
Yeah. No, that's real. But do you only feel like that when it's like a negative reaction? Because you can,
positive. I'm ready. Get to me. I take it. Thank you so much. Because for a long, and I will say, I'm not gonna act like I've always been like that. Because a simple compliment for me to receive that, I feel like that's me being vulnerable. Because I have to accept what you're saying. And so if someone say, okay, oh my God, you're so pretty, you're so awesome, I usually be like, girl, whatever, you too, instead of just saying thank you.
Yeah.
And so I've come to the point of like, I'm good with saying thank you. I'm good with receiving that because I already know it for myself. And so that's that positive vulnerability. But I'll take that, any day now. But I can say back in the past, it was harder for me to even take the positive vulnerability.
Gotcha. So you're not much of like, a person has to create safe space, right? You're more like, as long as I feel safe in this space, regardless of who created it, you can be vulnerable.
I won't say regardless of who, but yeah. If someone's created,
okay, but that's what you said, Miss Mama. So
no,
Okay.
not regardless of who, because
who I'm being either you or the person.
I'm saying the people in my circle, I'm able to be vulnerable with them, but not just like a random person. Just because I'm safe, I feel safe, and they're just like a random person. I'm not necessarily gonna be vulnerable with them.
Okay, that's not what I was talking about.
Oh, well, go ahead.
But so. What would a person have to do, or what do you need in order to feel safe in these spaces?
I need, again, for somebody to be maybe transparent because that makes me feel comfortable. I need to know that this person has my best interest, that even if they think I did something wrong, they'll be willing to tell me where I'm right and wrong, because there are close friends I have and I just know they might say yes or girl, what? And try to support me even when I don't deserve that support. And so I have to have somebody that I feel like is going to actually be real with me. And then just somebody that I'm just comfortable with in its totality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that makes me feel safe. And obviously, like I said earlier, I'm going to ask the questions, are you in a space to receive this today, right, before I just dump on somebody? But if I feel safe, I'm like, okay, I'm good to go.
What could a person do to, like, make you feel unsafe?
One thing is that just the yes, telling me yes.
Being a yes man?
That kills me.
Oh, that burned me up.
That you don't make me feel safe.
Yeah.
You make me feel like
You're
in
an
this
enabler.
moment, yeah, you're going to enable me and you might talk about me behind my back. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Someone who always feels the need to like dump on me. I don't know why, but I can, like, I'll take it, but I'm just like, I know I'm not finna talk to that person because whatever you're dumping on me, you're talking about probably friends, family, whatever. So what makes me any different? Because in my safe space or in the relationships that I've built where I want to be vulnerable, I also hope that there's a level of like confidentiality between me and that person.
Yeah.
And so somebody that's always dumping on me, I'll never feel like vulnerable with them.
To tell them, like, your deepest dark secrets.
Yeah. What about you?
What makes me feel safe?
Well, what makes you feel safe, and then what makes you feel unsafe?
Yeah, so I think a person just listening, and it's not like just like a one particular thing that a person can do to make me feel safe. I think that just comes with over time. And I also think like it varies from like depending on the type of relationship. Like friendships, I'm more of a like I don't like people that's not self-aware. Because a person that's not self-aware can live in like this fantasy world and delusion, and that would never make me feel safe. So friendships, I think I'm more prone to like feeling safer fast for whatever reason. I think maybe it has to do with I feel like with our friendship, you don't want nothing from me. Like you don't expect nothing from me outside of me just being good to you and being a good friend. Whereas maybe romantic relationships is a little tougher for me to be vulnerable. So a guy creating that safe space for me, I think it's just going to be over. Like that'll just take time and just listening and just being cool, and then gradually I'll feel safer. But I'm more prone to feeling safer with my homegirls than, or even my homeboys than a romantic relationship. Yeah. What can a person do to like make me feel unsafe? Oh, the list is just never ending. Lie or just totally disregard my feelings or minimize my feelings, right? Because I feel everything and I feel it like on a level that probably isn't normal. So it may not be a big deal to you, but if you ever like minimize my feelings, that'll just make me feel like you just don't give a fuck for real.
Anything I tell you, it's not really, you're not even putting any thought in your response. I'm coming to you because I want this help or I want some kind of advice on something, and like you're not even putting thought into it.
You're like, you tripping on it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad. And it's like, all right, well, cool story, bro. It didn't happen to you. So I think like minimizing or not, I guess validating my feelings would kind of make me feel like, all right, this is not a space where I could be vulnerable. But that's probably the main thing. Anything else is like, it's not a complete violation. Like I could probably come back from it. But my my just like platonic relationships typically get the softer side of me. Like y'all know the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like I don't have a pride, right? Because I don't think you can be vulnerable and be prideful at the same time. Like the two, like they can't coexist. So I'm way more prideful in my romantic relationships. So that's something that I'm working on in therapy. How to just be more vulnerable.
They don't need, how does the therapy show? They talk about therapy all the time.
Because baby, I am in therapy all the time.
It does wonders.
Yeah.
For the soul.
So yeah, it depends on the relationship and what I need from that person. And depending on if I get it or not will determine if I feel like this space is safe enough for me to like be softer. I like being soft though.
Soft is good. Do you think Sierra had to be vulnerable with Russell when she put on that dress.
Which one?
Was that the Oscars?
When she was her booty was out?
Yeah. I just thought I'd start talking.
Okay, well damn. Here's the thing that like it.
Here we go.
Yeah, you like when black people say here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's like all of these think pieces on whether Sierra or any woman that's married should like dress sexy, and it's like, why the fuck do we care when she's taking a picture standing next to her husband, or he's the one that's taking a picture? Like, I'm sure in a healthy marriage, no one or a woman is not dressing in a way that her husband wouldn't approve. Not saying he got ownership of her, she's property, but to keep peace in your house, sometimes you got to know when just to say, this not my battle. So that girl didn't go out with her ass out knowing that her husband was going to feel some kind of way.
They acting like she got the dress as she pulled up. And he just surprised, look at me.
Yeah.
Like, she looked mighty damn good
She
in
looked
that dress.
amazing.
She looked really, really good in that dress. And it's like, y'all, why do y'all feel like this woman wants to intentionally just disrespect her husband?
Or any woman for that matter.
Any woman for that matter.
Like, I think people feel like once you become a wife or once you become a mother, then you forget who you are as a woman.
I don't have to dress conservatively all the time or how you deem appropriate.
Yeah, like, no, like, if she looks good, she looks good. And I think that, you know, remaining sexy, whatever sexy is, because sexy it's subjective, right? So what I deem as sexy, the next person may not. But as long as, you know, what you're doing is something to make you feel good and you're doing it for you and your spouse approved, then what does it matter if your wife wants to come out with her ass out in pasties? Who cares?
It really only matters the wife
and the husband
and the spouse
and the spouse, whoever.
That's all that matters.
The outside world don't matter. It's just outside noise. I think do what works for your marriage, and if that means dressing up and being spicy and showing what you got, then show that shit.
But did you see her like that little 3-piece sweater suit afterwards? Why she get on this internet trolling like that? Because
she knew people was talking shit.
Tell no boots up skirt.
But what she need to do, that goddamn single she trying to push, just drop that shit.
You don't like that song?
Oh my God, girl.
I think it's so cute.
Why are you thinking about being independent? Don't nobody want to be inflation is through the fucking roof. I don't want to be independent. Girl, I might have to start dressing with my ass out to get a husband if that's the case.
I'm trying to tell you.
Shit. But no, dress how you want to dress. If it works for you, if you feel empowered and if you feel sexy and if you feel confident in doing it, then do that shit.
Do it.
Why not?
Do it. And I can guarantee you that man looking at his wife like,
he probably sucked a fart out her ass that night. She looked good.
Tell you, he's sitting there like, that's
that's me.
And here's the thing, they're not even checking the comments when they're actively at the Vanity Fair after party.
Meanwhile, you got the thug thumbers. Like, what, like, these things.
What y'all doing?
Go on about your fucking business. But no, do what you want to do. If it look good, it look good. Even if it don't look good, who the fuck am I? If y'all like it, then that's cool.
That's all that matters.
That's really all that matters. Okay, speaking of that's all that matters. You like these transitions? Speaking of.
Girl.
No, okay, so say you fucking with a nigga, right? And we're going to do it two different ways. We're going to say y'all ain't exclusive yet, but y'all been kicking it for a minute.
Okay.
And y'all talking about going on a trip. And he like, all right, bet. You know, I'm going to take care of the room, all the excursions, everything on me. But can you get the flights?
We are exclusive.
Let's just say this one, y'all not. But y'all been kicking, he cool.
He cool.
He cool.
And he say...
He like, shit, Cole, yeah, you been doing this podcast, y'all been filming.
Nah, I'm not going to get the flight. We not exclusive. We cool. But this is why I'm going to try to do some ninja shit.
Okay, what you gonna do?
I'm gonna tell him to get the flights. Tell him I pay for like 1 or 2 of the excursions. I'm gonna get down there and I'm at like I ain't got no money. I am going on a free trip because if we were exclusive, don't worry about it. If we were exclusive, I would definitely pay for the flights. I've actually paid for, when I was in a relationship, I paid for the whole trip. the flights, we went to Miami, then I think we took like a little 3-day cruise somewhere, I don't even remember. But I paid for the whole trip.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't mind paying for stuff when we're exclusive, but if we're not exclusive.
But you and Buddy been kicking it for like 6 months. He cool. Mm-hmm. And y'all have fun together. Mm-hmm. Y'all are intimate. Mm-hmm. This is just y'all first trip.
Mm-mm. I'm not paying for the flight.
You still not paying?
No. I'm not going to pay for the flight. I'll pay for something else. I'm not paying for them flights.
Oh.
Yeah. With you. Because you stressing it, and I know you ain't thinking no different. Miss Sanders, would you, if y'all kicking it?
He cool.
He cool. 6 months. He say, I got everything else. You just buy our flights.
Nah, because I feel like, nah. Nah. And I know I was giving you grief.
Yeah.
But nah.
I knew it wasn't going to be no different.
I just, like, I might buy him like a little short set to pack or like his toiletry.
Matching.
I do that. I'm not paying for no flight.
I'm not paying for the flight.
Nah.
No.
I'm not paying for no flight.
And
not for somebody I'm not with.
We're not exclusive.
I don't even want to do it. No, I would do it for like, if he was my dude. Mm-hmm. I've paid for a flight.
Have you?
Yeah, I flew with that nigga to Cleveland with me. I only been knowing him like a month.
Baby, had a good time.
You know, I love him.
He had a good time.
We did.
All right, so it was worth it.
Yeah, no. No. I probably wouldn't.
I know. I ain't gonna do it.
Because I just feel, and this is why, and this is, I probably got to get out of this way of thinking. Because in my mind, he done like found a Groupon deal, all-inclusive resort.
Ain't got nothing to do.
No, I'm about to bring it home.
Okay,
listen.
Go ahead.
In my mind, he done found like a deal, or like maybe this was like a canceled trip, and it was like towards the end of the year, where you got up to a year to redeem it.
Right.
Like, so it's not gonna come out. Like I'm gonna come out spending more on the flight than he actually paid for this trip.
Nah,
so then in my mind, the nigga could be like, oh, he got a trip up. No,
I personally, I'm not gonna do it because what if we fall out and now I'm stuck with these flights? Like I feel like I can cancel a hotel in advance, or I can cancel.
You can get a flight credit.
I'm not. Well, but it's not gonna give you the full value of the flights, and I don't want no flight credit. I want my money.
Okay.
And then I can cancel the excursions and stuff. That's why I can't do it.
No, and mine is just because I feel like I don't want to spend more than he's spending.
See, I can't. We fall out. I mean, granted, I'm still not gonna do it, but we fall out, and that definitely will mess me up. I'll be mad.
Crazy. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. We probably need to work on that.
No, I think I'm cool with it.
No, that's real. Fuck it then.
Yeah, because if we in a relationship, we gone.
So you would split, you would like go 50-50 on the trip?
How about a whole trip? I go 50-50 on the trip.
Yeah.
I hope that got her straight. Because I did buy a whole trip. I go 50-50 on the trip.
But I would pay for a whole trip.
Yeah.
I would.
I said, I'll buy a trip set. Yeah, look, tits. He got to be the right one. That's just that. And I don't regret a dime.
No, and that's real.
I don't regret a dime, but
I just feel like if we're not dating, I mean, we're just dating, then this is kind of maybe your chance to kind of wow me. Because what if I'm like, this might be like you and another nigga might be like 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
And then you can't take me on no bullshit ass trip. But this might, put you in the lead.
Y'all go to the Key West. What y'all gonna do out there?
Well, Florida? Quit playing with me.
But when it's time for you to pay for the flight, y'all going to Bali.
When it's time for me to pay for the flight?
That's how he gonna try to push that narrative.
Shit, we going to Cleveland. No fucking Bali, I'm not paying. We're going to Cleveland. The fuck?
I'm just trying to see how fucked up he got you, but no. Yeah, I don't, yeah.
Nah, I'm not.
It's a no for me.
It's a no for me. It's a hard no. But then again, yeah, it's enough. I'm saying that right now, but sometimes you get fucked real good and you just
shit
like,
go crazy and it be like,
you can have whatever you like.
Yeah, don't even hold me to this. What I'm talking, I'm just
at this very moment.
I'm just popping my gum.
Cause the right dick come around. I'm sliding the shit off that Amex.
Got a little TikTok dance to it. Every time the alarm go out, the thing, I'm gonna swipe.
Facts. Now,
yeah.
Since we're like all jokes aside, right? We're talking about vulnerability. This is definitely a sensitive topic that I know is near and dear to both of us, as well as just anybody in their right mind that have a heart. The Tennessee school shooting. Crazy, right?
Crazy.
Just, and you know what's pissing me off? Like, amongst everything that has to deal with school shootings, whether it's an elementary school or a university, just school shootings in general. The news, they keep reporting it as, like, the headline is always somebody, because, you know, the shooter is trans. Trans, because they're, you know, instead of, like,
focusing on what's
this is a mass murder.
Yeah.
Sexual identity, sexual orientation aside, like, the fact that they're, like, honing in on that as if to put an even darker cloud on the LGBTQ plus community. That's pissing me off. And it's almost like in every fucking mass shooting, the shooter gets all this attention. And their background, they were disturbed. And they're saying for the Tennessee shooter that they were grieving the loss of a close friend. That excuse you for going in a fucking elementary school and shooting it up?
It doesn't.
Like, I don't understand.
You sat up here and you told someone before, I'm gonna die today.
Wrote out a letter.
I'm gonna do something bad and I'm gonna die, or you'll know I'm dead after it's all said and done or something. And it's like, what the fuck were you thinking? Why? If you gonna write that out, then shit, just do it to yourself. Why are you going there killing them 3 kids and them 3 adults?
Yeah. And it's almost like this country, we know this country is built on some bullshit, right? But for this government, for them to claim that they are so pro-life and they're willing to jail a woman over, you know, trying to get an abortion, and she still got a fucking zygote. It's a zygote. It's an embryo. It's nothing. You know what I mean? Like the 6 week abortion ban?
Heartbeat ban or 6 week? Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
You're so pro fucking life, but y'all refuse to create stricter gun laws. Why would any fucking civilian need a semi-automatic weapon?
Multiple.
Why?
Multiple.
That's insane.
Like a 5-day span, or they went and got 5 guns or something. I don't want to mix the story up. Like, it's really, really insane. Because when you said in Cleveland, y'all have to take the gun class.
Well, now they passed law, you don't even have to do that. But I'm licensed to carry.
Right.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. People also, 2 things can be true. I'm for the Second Amendment because I'm licensed to carry, I carry. But I also think it's fuck the NRA and we need stricter gun laws. Like, 2 things can be true. But like, when I got my gun license in Cleveland, we had to sit through an 8-hour in-class training where you had to go over gun laws, gun safety, gun handling. Then we had to do another 8 hours at the gun range. I came down here and it was like,
in the background check.
Literally, that's it. You got people that have their license to carry a concealed weapon. They don't even know how to fucking handle a gun properly. And this is just like a 9 or a revolver. And you can go to a gun store and get, like, that's in an AR-15. Why would you ever need one?
With no questions asked. You walk in and walk out. Stricter gun laws, like, literally just looks like, it's, you know how I remember we doctor shopping. Somebody especially can go and get Oxycontin from this doctor, opioids from this doctor, and then they created the system literally where you can log in and put this patient name in and it'll tell you the last dose, the last person that prescribed it. It's trying to link all of that together. We can do the same thing when it comes to stricter gun laws. If this person has purchased this gun, let there be a database that you got to check beforehand and then actually say, well, you just purchased this amount. What are you using these for? Screen them like they do when we come back from the country.
Girl, going through customs is a motherfucker.
Screen them like they do.
I'm just bringing back pure white Hennessy.
That's
the fuck?
Got 5 for a good price.
No, for real. No, all jokes aside. Or it need to be a wait period. Okay, if you go in to buy this, whatever, this AR for whatever reason, okay, well, now you got to wait 72 hours before you can pick it up.
Right.
Like, And this is just throwing it out there. Like, obviously, like, you know, nothing is foolproof. Even if they come up with stricter gun laws, where there's a will, there's a way. All you gotta do is know somebody that knows somebody and have a couple dollars. You can get whatever you want.
Right for now, I'll settle with making it harder.
That's it. Just make this shit harder.
Start somewhere.
If you know, like, because I do support the Second Amendment, like, it's always exceptions to the rule. I don't think. Whereas in a perfect world, yes, everybody would have the right to bear arms to protect themselves and their loved ones in their home. True story. But some people just are not mentally, you know, able to like have that type of responsibility, their maturity level. It's a lot of things that factor into that. So like, we need to come up with something better than this. But even with like the medical system, how you said like they created this database so, you know, people couldn't abuse opiates. But the cure is like medicine. The money is not in the cure, it's in the treatment. So now if you create these stricter gun laws, a lot of these gun companies, they're going to lose a lot of money, a lot of business.
Yeah.
So they don't give a fuck about kids. Like, and we know this. We know this country. It's greed. It's money. But I just find like it's so crazy. Like, how many more parents will have to bury their kids before like this shit really become like outrage? It's just not like a topic that people talk about and then brush past it. And I always feel like, you know, sometimes a person got to experience something for it to really hit home. But you would never wish that on nobody. I would never wish that, this government official will experience the loss of a child or a loved one due to gun violence.
For them to really get it, yeah.
So, like, I guess the question is, like, how do you think in our lifetime, we will ever see stricter gun laws?
I would like to hope so. I know that's not the answer you're looking for.
I'm not hopeful.
And
that's sad.
It's not the answer you're looking for, but I would really, really hope so. But the only reason why I can't like confidently say yes is because we see so much death and everything around us that, of course, as a nation, we get desensitized to it. And I'm hoping that the more we see it, the more people don't get desensitized. The only reason why I have this hope is because I feel like they show up and show out in numbers when stuff like this happen. So I feel like we're not gonna, by the time we pass on, I feel like we won't be desensitized. And I'm hoping that we can just keep that momentum up. So I'm hopeful, but I just pray to God we don't get desensitized looking at school killings. And
I think it's the opposite. I think because how many school shootings have we had prior to this one and nothing's happened? You know what I mean? Like, how many times have somebody went in and shot up a school and it's like business as usual the next day?
Every time.
Maybe a week. It's in the news for the week. And then everybody else move on with their life. And the only people that is really impacted by it are the families that lost their kids. I don't think it's ever going to change, unfortunately. And that's so fucked up.
It hurts.
Yeah.
I remember they was like, you know, they tried Sandy Hooks is a conspiracy and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, don't believe everything you see. Yeah, I don't give a damn who did what. It don't change the fact that these kids are gone.
Yeah.
And it kills me because people try to create these narratives that just don't exist. Bottom line, these kids are gone. Why? Because somebody let this person irresponsibly buy all these guns and just act off of whatever impulse, whatever's fuck with them that day. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I don't think this is the end. I think we're going to just continue to see more and more, and I think it's going to continue to, in a sense, not desensitize people, but we not gonna see no change in our lifetime. That's so crazy. That's so sad. You can't even send like when we were in school, right? You had your fire drill and you had your tornado drill, and that was it. Like, now you have kids, kindergartners, going through school shooting drills. If there's an active shooter that come into school, like, how do you even explain that to a 5-year-old?
You do understand that sometimes even doing those drills can create trauma for a kid.
That part.
So, because I can remember as minute as it is I won't say that people lose their lives, but or tornado drill or whatever, like, that still was kind of traumatic because it's like, dang, now I'm on edge. This thing could happen any day now. Not really, going to your point, a 5-year-old kid not really understanding what it's for, but it can still create this just traumatic event for him. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But I'm going to do it. because I'd rather us be as safe as we
To
can.
have it and not need it than to need it and not
have it. Yeah. I hate to talk about it. I mean, not talk about it. I love to talk about it because hopefully it helps get us further there, but I hate to know that I have to talk about it.
Yeah, and you know, I hate that I know that there's a problem. Mm-hmm. I have no way to even to begin to say this is how we can fix it. Mm-hmm. I think that's the part that really bothers me because we know what and we know what the solution is, right?
But no, we just gave good solutions.
Yeah,
on
no,
how
stricter
we can
gun laws, but they're I don't know how we can go about to really get the powers to be to see that shit is imperative. We need it. Mm-hmm. And without it, we're going to continue to have these school shootings. These parents are going to continue to have to bury their kids. And these mass murderers, these homegrown terrorists are going to continue to get the spotlight that they need. And that's going to just breed more mass murderers. And it's just going to be a never-ending cycle.
How do you come up with this stuff? How do they come up with this stuff in their heads to think that this is okay? Yeah. No, but I mean,
the killers?
The killers, yeah, that this is even okay. I don't even know if
and we can't say mental health because I know a lot of people that's been clinically diagnosed and they ain't never shot up a school. So we can't stop using that as a crutch because it's also doing a disservice to those others people in that community that have these diagnoses, and you're putting this label on them, just like the trans. You're putting this there's a bad apples in every bunch.
We just got to stop irresponsibly identifying it as. Because there is people with mental health that literally, I believe, push them to the edge, and whatever happens and clicks and whatever chemical imbalance caused them to do these things. But we so quick to irresponsibly identify that
Slap
shit
it on them.
Mental health. Yeah, but let's go a little deeper. What mental health? What is the cause? What is this? What is that? But again, even if the killer gave me the why, I still don't know that. I mean, I still don't know. It wouldn't be enough.
It would never be enough.
But slapping a label on it, damn sure ain't gonna make me oh yeah, this was justified.
Oh, that makes sense.
No,
absolutely not.
Fuck no.
It's evil in this world, and no matter
you can't. Yeah, that's just it.
It's just evil. And sometimes really fucked up things happen to good people, and unfortunately, these the 6 victims from Tennessee is proof of that. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're going to have way more stories coming. Fucked up, right? Talk about being vulnerable. That just made me sad. Take us out.
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
We're not doing this shit.
All right.
What you call it?
I stole it from Wild Now. I gotta credit it. I'm sorry. This is the guy Wild Now. What do you call it? Yeah. Fish. You like that one?
No, he already said it's a fish before.
I know. And I'm
the first time he liked it. Okay.
Did you like it that time too? Cool. Well, look, that is a wrap of our episode. I think summing it up, being vulnerable is being open. Being open and being able to give a piece of you to somebody in hopes that they won't take in the palm of their hand and ball it up. And if they do, it's for good reason.
And if they do, it says more about them than it will ever say about you. So don't let that stop you from being who you are at your core.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Not a Real Podcast. Remember, I'm Big Cole.
I'm Isha.